Warning, the following images contain
terrible demons. Ouch!
True Review here, and welcome to part 3 of the horror series. And this one, we'll be looking at the particular moments of gaming where I've kinda accidentally, but definitely not intentionally, maybe just a little bit, let a small piece of poo fall out. Although this isn't the top 10 scariest moments in gaming, these moments have caught us all out, and some of these moments aren't even from horror games. But you can pretty much guess that Amnesia and System Shock 2 will probably make an appearance near at some point. They always do. So, presenting the top 10, hey look everyone, I just shat myself, moments. Number 10. Take my eye, why don't you? I'm going to play a little game with you. I'm going to mention a game, and I want you to make note of the first part from it that comes to mind. Ready? Okay, go. Thief.
Betting end!
Now let's see how you did. If you said that scene with Constantine where Victoria takes your eye, then congratulations, you've passed the test. If you thought of something else, then you're lame, and if you thought, do you know what, I haven't played Thief, then go out and get it, you cheap ass bastard. It's only like £2 to get, I'm sure you can afford it. Yes, that scene in Thief just completely freaked me out, and I first played this game in 2012, a good 14 years since its release, so it must be good. After painstakingly hunting for the eye, Garrett returns to Constantine to deliver the goods and get paid, like we all do every day. But unknowing to Garrett, Constantine's a two-faced backstabbing son of a bitch. And also the pagan god of chaos as well. In what can only be described as one of the most harrowing cutscenes ever conceived of, Constantine lets loose his predator, the beautiful Victoria, who is also a demon, who rips out Garrett's eye in order to power up the eye that Garrett brought back. As Constantine's true form is revealed, Garrett can do nothing but cower, bound up in roots and vines, and left there as a sacrifice to the woodsy lord. But don't worry kids, it has a happy ending. Number 9. People in the lift. What's the one thing that you'd expect from an empty elevator? That's right, that is actually empty. But here in the first Metal Gear Solid game, we got something else. After Snake enters the lift, he becomes concerned when the weight load warning starts activating. Wondering why this warning, which won't come on... Jeez, what's with all the W's in this bit? Which won't come on unless there's more than 4 people in the lift, has activated, he is suddenly contacted by Otacon, who informs him that 4 of the prototype stealth camouflage suits have been stolen. Now all Snake has to do is put 2 and 2 together and...
Look out, Snake! The guys who stole my stealth prototypes are in there with you!
This game did very well at making me shit myself at this point, as even apparent safe zones aren't safe. Number 8. The first vision of the many. Okay, so... told you, there's one. So what have we had to deal with so far in System Shock 2? Okay, we have zombie-like ex-crew members trying to kill us, a bastard AI program in the form of Xerxes, space-grade amnesia, and not forgetting a Macarena dancing robot. So what more could this game throw at you to mess with your head? How about a totally uncalled for horrific vision of the inside of someone's arse in which an alien race informs you that they want to absorb you into the aforementioned arse in order to make them more powerful, and of course, the consequences. What made me shit myself about this part is that, whilst it's pretty disturbing to watch on its own, you were not expecting this to happen at all. You were just going about your daily business of killing parasitic worms who have taken over the bodies of the Von Braun crew, in the same way that the Germans take over a beach resort, and all of a sudden, you're tripping balls. And you don't even get to see something nice like puppies or perhaps a giant Mars bar running towards you saying, "Eat me." No. Instead, you'll get to witness something that will give you the same reaction as if you've just watched Rosie O'Donnell's workout video. It's scary, and I don't want to have to watch that again. Number 7. The twins! I would like to say that this was an easy decision to make, but I have to admit that there were a number of times where I crapped my pants when I played Project Zero 2. However, if I had to pick one, then it'd have to be the few times you come into contact with the twins. Although there is only really one of them, because the other is a decoy, this still does not excuse the fact that they freak me out. Okay, so Mia hasn't figured out the whole ghost busting thing that's going on, and she's decided to bring a camera to the fight, but let's face it, she does okay. But then you come across the twins, which is basically like fighting the girl from The Ring, but 2 of them. Oh, and they can teleport. Oh, and one of them you can't harm, so you have to figure out which is the real one and attack that one and avoid the other. Oh, and there's no real method of working that out. Oh, and they're incredibly short, because they're children. Oh, and the first time you fight them is in a f***ing narrow hallway. I mean, come on! You couldn't be more vulnerable in this situation, and it's this sense of you're f***ed that is present throughout the game, but more so right here is what makes this a crap your pants moment. Number 6. Shale Bridge f***ing Cradle. You know, I don't think I have to say anything here. It's pretty much the same as what I said in Messed Up Locations, so I'm just going to show you that bit again. To the past! So all the way through the Thief franchise, you're running around having a laugh. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun, look at me! And pow! What the f*** is going on in this place? All the way up until this point in the Thief franchise, Garrett has had to deal with a lot of crap, but the paranormal is technically not on that list. But Ironstorm thought it would be best for everyone if Garrett now had to hide from the tormented spirits at the former residence of the twisted insane asylum of Shale Bridge. Being in the asylum was like something out of Silent Hill, except this was actually scary and not just a load of enemies going boo every so often. Like with some more successful horror games, though this is technically not actually a horror game, what gets most of us in the cradle is the possibility of coming face to face with one of the twisted souls that are forever damned to wander the hallways looking for someone to kill. The possibility is always there every time you step around a corner, and you better be ready to run if you see one. But the venue itself is so freaky and messed up. Almost instantly upon arrival, Gareth starts to hear screams of children and begins to see different ghostly apparitions. With the place falling apart, lights constantly going on and off, and then throw in with the occasional piece of furniture being chucked across the room, you think that the place itself is pretty twisted. But then you get the backstory in which you find out that while the asylum was indeed trying to cure those who had lost their minds, the way in which they experimented on these souls is no wonder why they're still grounded in the physical world. And during your time at the cradle, you begin to witness some of these experiments. Finally, you find out that the place has claimed you, and now you can't leave until you manage to trick it, by which I mean, kill yourself. This facility is bad enough without its residents, and it is definitely one messed up location. Number 5. The bathroom mirror. This time we have the most memorable and pants-filling moments from 2004's remake of the classic Doom game in the form of Doom 3. Aside from being a very creepy, intense and terrifying game in itself, players were even more mortified in seeing an unexpected vision of themselves being cast into the depths of hell. This point occurs not too far into the game and freaked players out completely. The barrier between Mars and Hell have been broken, and demons are pouring into the claustrophobic and almost completely void of light military facility, and you have been thrown headlong into it. Despite these demons being believed to have come from Hell, you don't really believe that to be true, and that there has to be some sort of logical reasoning behind it all. But it isn't until we've entered what appears to be a seemingly harmless bathroom and looked into the mirror that we start to think otherwise. As you begin to feel that your soul has become a target for these beings, the player is treated to a horrific vision of himself being cast down into hell as the bathroom surroundings burn up. Whilst this vision only lasts for a few seconds, the horrific sight that the player was forced to witness will stay with them throughout the rest of the game, and it made me shit myself. Number 4. Roy Campbell says a load of things that... I really have no idea what's happening here. Well, it turns out that things on the big shell aren't all that it's made out to be. Pretty much everything that was given to you in your mission briefing turned out to be complete bollocks. There was no actual possible environmental spill. The president is actually working for the Sons of Liberty. Snake isn't Snake, and then it turns out that Pliskin is Snake. Hostages weren't actually being killed. The Navy SEAL team wasn't really going to be used for anything. And let's not forget, Snake was never factored into the simulation. Now, let's stop a second and have a look at that last bit again. What the hell does that mean? How strangely put.
Oh, hey, you're right.
What's going on? Well, you do get the answer, but it's not the one you were hoping for. Our doubts about him begin to set in, but then all hopes are smashed when finally he cracks. In some of the most random but disturbing codec messages of all, we get the full frontal blowage of Campbell's psychotic rants.
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey rock. I need scissors. 61.
This wasn't expected, and because Campbell was, until this point, the only constant in the game for us, makes this revelation even more chilling. Number 3. God Save the Queen. Were the Aliens vs Predator films scary? Were they scary? Were the games scary? Well, let's ask CJ from GTA San Andreas.
There's a Pope shit in the woods.
Yeah. Wait, no. Anyway. Every AVP game that I've ever played has made me fill up my loads with soft, creamy poo-poo. And by all games, I mean 2 of them. But one of the moments from that franchise that has stayed with me has to have been that end of level part on the second Marine level in the 2010 version. It's a Marine's worst nightmare. After entering the Queen's chamber and laying eyes on her for the first time, we also noticed the 20 plus eggs that were hatching at the same time, and it's here that we decided to lay a brick down in our pants. Well, at least that's what happened to me. Number 2. Getting chased by a gatherer. And there's the other one. Dark corners, ghostly shuffling noises, the sound of eggs cracking, and a sanity meter. What a great recipe for one f***ed up experience. Now, the last thing we wanted in the 2010 game Amnesia: The Dark Descent was to then get chased by someone who looks like they've just been through a meat grinder. On top of the fact that you are powerless against them, coupled with their speed, that's right, they're quicker than you. The player has no choice but to run away from these guys when sighted and hide somewhere in the hopes that you won't be seen. The fear of impending death, the hypnotic yet harrowing music, all thrown in once more with the sound of your very mind cracking to the situation, are only a few reasons on a very long list on why I crapped my pants in this game. Number 1. Running through the stasis fields. Yes, the one game that scares me above all others, Aliens vs Predator 2 has just a massive collection of terror moments that I could probably do a montage on all of them. In fact, here we go. Walking into an alien hive could be the most emotionally scarring thing for me to do, but the worst moment has to come from that part where you've just escaped the human facility with no weapons. Now, if that's not bad enough, there's this one part where the only way to progress through the level is to deactivate an alien egg stasis field and then run through it. Really? You want me to do that? What a f***ing idiotic thing to ask me to do. The mission objective might as well say, enter stasis field and rub your face against an egg. After entering the field, you begin a frantic scramble to get to the other side, and whilst this is taking place, you're engulfed by the sounds of alien eggs opening up and a bunch of those little f***ers chasing after you, desperate to get acquainted with your tongue. What made me crap my pants here is not the actual act of running through the stasis field, but rather the thought of what will happen if I don't get through it quick enough. Although, I must admit, I've never failed at this part of the game, one thing I have failed on is completing this section without filling my pants. So that is the top 10 moments I've shit myself. But if you'd like to let me know when or where you've shit yourself, then come visit me on the True Review website or at True Review on Facebook. Remember to check out the other True Review episodes and catch up on the previous episodes in this series. Stay tuned next time where we'll have the series finale in the top 10 gaming villains that have concerned me. See you soon.
As you may or may not know, today is Canada Appreciation Day.
God, I hate Canada.